Let's have a look at the Trade Secret Trade Size Calculator now, which is a very simple Excel spreadsheet that you can download from the website. And the first thing to note is the spreadsheet is actually protected to stop any accidental damage to it. But if you do want to make any changes to it, then just note that the password is trade to unlock it. The next thing to note is it's color coded. As said, the majority of the cells are locked and protected, but the yellow cells are changeable, and deliberately so, and that's where you're going to be entering your data for your account size and also for your individual trades. First thing to look at is the top section, the account currency. So if you're trading with a dollar account in dollars, then you don't need to change it, but if you are on a GBP or a sterling account, just use the drop down to select sterling. Next thing we need to specify is our account balance. So this is our trading account risk size. So at the moment it's set to a $10,000 account, but if I wanted to make that $5,000, I'll just type over it, or indeed if I wanted to make it $2,000. So you get the idea. But let's just put it back to 10, which is a nice round number for the time being. What we need to do next is specify our level of trade risk. Now typically that would be 1% for most traders, but you can use the drop down to change it for anything up to 5%. You certainly wouldn't want to go beyond 5%, and it's arguable that you probably wouldn't want to go beyond 1 or 2, but let's just leave it at 1 for the time being. Now obviously 1% of 10,000 is 100, so it will only be risking $100 of our trading account on any one particular trade that we put into the formula. So let's put a trade into the formula. Now we need to always specify an entry price and a stop loss price. Okay, so for an entry price, this is we've got an entry price of 10,000. Point to note here that when you're entering your figures in here, it should be entered in whole pips, so points, pence or cents. So we don't want any decimal points. So if this was a currency example, it would typically be 1.000 as our opening position. If it was an indices trade, well, then we're looking at a 10,000 point opening. If it was a UK stock, then this would be 10,000 pence or £100 per share. Let's do just a quick shares example. So let's say we're buying at £5, which would obviously be 500 pence. And let's say that we're going long and we want to stop loss at £4.50 or 450 pence. Well, that gives us a points difference of 50. We're not looking at Forex, so we just ignore these first 3 columns. And for a typical spread betting account, we're looking at obviously $2 per point. So 2 times 50 gives us our 100 risk, so we can't lose, or in theory, we shouldn't lose more than $100 on the trade. Obviously, that's subject to any gapping not happening, etc. Now let's give an example of a index trade. Well, let's just say we wanted to go long at 5,500 on the UK FTSE, and perhaps we want to stop loss at maybe for 5,400. Well, obviously that equates to 100 points in risk distance, and that would equate, not surprisingly, to $1 per point on the indices being traded. And then finally, let's look at a currency example. So let's say we've got a currency and we want to get in at 1.5040. We put that in the whole pips, so no decimal points, and let's say we're going long again. Let's say we want our stop loss of 1.500 on the nose. So that's a 40 pip risk distance. If you're spread betting it, we know that's $2.5 per pip. And if we've got a lot-based account, well, that's 0.25 standard lots, 2.5 mini lots, or 25 micro lots is our position size for that trade based on that entry and that stop loss. Now, the last thing we need to consider for currency trading is the pip cost. Now, the majority of pip costs are around about 0.1, or certainly they are from my broker, but you need to research that with your broker and enter the correct figure accordingly for the currency pair you're trading. So I know, for example, on FXCM, if I was trading Euro GBP, the pip cost tends to be around about 0.16 for me. So if I put that in, that will adjust then the amount of lots that I need to trade to make sure that I stay within my $100 1% risk. Now for Euro and Sterling, I know that it's at 0.1 and that's the default setting. So summarise the entry notes there of what I've said down below. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to send an email to us, but hopefully that trade size calculator will get you going in the right direction for correct position sizing, and the caveat is obviously do double check everything and check it on a demo account first of all.